So it does there, but then it's here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we can watch it here to look for the...
Yep.
Oh my gosh, how's my hair?
Hello, everyone, ladies and gents. We are GeekChic. We're here for another Whiskey Wednesday Nerd Rage. We have
Chris,
Ruth Ann,
Kari, Beth.
Yes, thank you again, Kari, for stopping by for a little special treat and special guest.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm
Yeah.
so excited to be here.
I'm excited
Love
to have
you,
you
ladies.
here.
So
Oh,
happy to be here.
Bruce.
Yes.
All right, so we have to start
First
with our
thing
whiskey.
first.
Yes.
I am very, on
okay.
No,
this is
it's nice.
very
I'm just-
peaty.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
All
it
right,
is.
so what is our
Super
whiskey?
peaty.
We call it a
Super
science.
It's a science whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
explained.
it's from this local LA distillery that I guess this guy just does mad science with different alcohols, and he did one with rum before, and now he's been doing one with... This is technically not supposed to be classified as whiskey because it's not old enough, and there's all these weird rules for what you can and can't call whiskey.
Very
So it's called a malt, and he got some specific whiskey from Islay, and then aged it in Riesling-soaked oak barrels, but Riesling is normally aged in stainless steel, so he got barrels and stripped the tannins out of them, and then soaked them in Riesling, and I don't know. It's called it's considered that he made two different ones. One is called one is called the Crying of the Puma is one strain, and the one we're drinking is called Sayers of the Law.
Sayers of the law.
Sure.
Cheers,
Yeah.
ladies.
Yes,
Sayers
cheers.
of the law.
Yes.
Hey.
All right, to prep us for our nerd rage.
Ooh, smoky.
It's so beady. Oh my goodness.
Oh, what's going on?
Yo, that was
it's
aggressive.
burning in my stomach.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's very
goodness.
peaty, very smoky.
All right, we
And
ready?
54% alcohol by volume, so what up, 3 p.m.?
So we'll be drunk
Hey,
in 2
happy hour.
minutes.
It's pretty much happy hour, so.
Yeah. Oh, always.
You know.
It's happy hour in the Midwest.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
It's happy hour in the
All
Midwest,
right.
guys.
Yeah.
catching up
I
here,
was about to
ladies.
say, I'm going to make funny faces, just letting you know. Drinking whiskey. I'm like,
All right. Whew. All right, Chris. What is our first nerd rage that we're
First
starting with?
topic is comic news site that don't cover comic news. There's been a little bit of a nerd rage happening here with me because I'm finding and Beth down there.
Beth has a lot of
I'm not
opinions,
alone.
guys.
I'm not alone in
Okay.
this.
Yes.
For news sites that are only covering the very basics of things because they don't want to piss off anybody in the industry for fear that they won't get the exclusives or they won't get the press releases anymore, and they won't be first on the list, and they won't get any good scoops because either publishers or creators or whoever are mad at them for reporting on what's really, really happening. And so there's no one out there except for, as we know, one gossip site, which I can't stand personally because it's filled with ads. It's ads, and I can't even click through a damn story without everything freezing and reloading on me, and it's just so frustrating that I don't even want to go there.
I don't have a problem with the ads. I have a problem with the content.
Well, yeah, and
For 2 minutes,
that's
someone's dream
secondary, but it's the only one that actually reports on shit that's kind of,
I disagree with that
Well, okay, so who do you think?
because
is,
I don't think any. Okay, my issue with the site you're talking about is that he reports a lot of really unsubstantiated rumors.
Yeah.
And that drives me crazy.
Yeah, same here.
And I
it's
have
just
a lot of
bullshit.
feelings
It's
on
a bunch of
journalism.
bullshit.
So it's not that he's publishing the things nobody will say. It's that he fucking makes shit up and harasses people for quotes.
Well, and he also just trolls Facebook for stuff, and then will gather
and steal
pieces of
people's
information.
personal posts.
Yeah,
and
just
because everything on Facebook is true.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
And also, it's all the clickbait crap, and it's just so especially with the comic book stuff. It's I don't just show
a lot
me
of
the
clickbait
thing.
out there.
And now instead of articles, I've noticed a lot of sites are switching to everything being video.
Yeah.
And personally, I'm at work or I'm doing, I just want to read.
You
and
just
I
wanna read
don't want to watch something. And honestly, I can read faster than you could talk.
Or
So
there's just listicles now.
Yeah.
It's top 10 favorite superheroes. You won't believe who they picked as number one. And you're
Right.
oh, come on.
Oh, yeah,
I don't even care about
99% of those are just
Yeah,
crap.
it's just bullshit. And you
I
gotta
don't
click through
care.
each page, next, so they can get all their ads in, and it's just extremely frustrating. And there is a lack of good comic news sites out there that are actually reporting on what's going on. And that's
Oh, we lost
we
connection.
lost. Facebook will pause
We'll
while
pause
it
while it
reconnects.
goes.
Elevator
I'm like, are we ready? Trying to reconnect.
I mean, so far it still looks fine on here.
Yeah.
Well, this is on a
that's
delay.
pause.
Yep, there we go. We
Nice
might have
pause.
to restart.
I like a face.
Poor
your
wireless
face.
connection.
Oh,
There we go.
Hey!
Just kidding, we're back.
Well,
Sorry about that, kids.
and also, hello, Sam, and hello, Joshua. Good to see you again.
Hello. Well, I guess I have a interesting opinion on this because I do write for a
That's
comic
right.
website. But I would say
Is it like hard-hitting news though, or is it just like
anything
kind of
you want
like,
to cover.
Really?
Everybody.
So are you guys covering all the sexual harassment stuff?
So, one of our writers, she did write about the cosplay as consent and from personal experience.
Mhm.
So she did I guess you'd say an editorial piece about it,
Mhm.
and I thought it was really good. You guys can go check that out on Crazy 4 Comic Con with a 4.
Yeah, tell us more
But-
about your site,
yeah,
where we
yes.
can find your articles and all that.
Yeah.
And hello, Colin.
Yeah, so I write for a site called Crazy for Comic Con. It's started by Tony Kim, otherwise known as Crazy for Comic Con.
Mhm.
And on that site, I'm one of the writers. There's a few of us, and we all know each other pretty well. And we're all kind of in constant communication. And you can write about whatever you want. Like, that's the point of, like, you cover what you want.
So there's no like editorial like crackdown on like where you submit something and they go, oh no, like we
No,
won't.
you write what you want.
And just
Tony has
Wow.
provided a really open and supportive environment that, like, when he was getting ready for his new clothing line, Hero Within, he's like, I can't cover all the new stuff, so he was looking for writers.
Mhm.
Mostly, I haven't really done any editorial stuff. I've done more reviews or upcoming news stuff, but there are people that are writing about that and other people talking about it. Also, the new one with Cosplay Deviants, someone was like, we need to do either some kind of roundtable about that, so there are sites that are. I can't say of what all of them are covering, but there is interest there to cover these kind of stories.
And I think that's also, there's just so much, it's brought, so like, the actual like comic industry stuff is going to be different and like businessy and not appeal to the general public. But
Well,
then
sure.
there are certainly sites that are just reprinting people's press releases and not really
Right.
doing any reporting. There are other sites that are just reporting rumor and
Yeah.
trying to start
Yeah,
fights.
exactly. Yeah, the clickbait
There are
stuff.
other
And if
sites
you guys
that
have
just
any
do
sites
reviews.
that you read, please comment below and we'll talk about those.
Well, and also there's one pretty large site that I know earlier this year converted to a system where they only pay their writers by click. They pay per
that's
click.
right. We were talking
One of the
about
big
that.
ones.
So that's
So
one
I
of the
know someone who
reasons
used
it
to write
switched
for them, and
clickbait.
he left because he literally couldn't make a living anymore.
Yeah.
Because he had to write all these like insane like listicles and things he didn't want to write, and then also constantly be harassing everyone he knew to please click through because I get paid per click, and if I don't get enough clicks, like I don't get paid.
Yeah.
Like
Which
is not a good system.
That's not
No,
no,
terrible
not at all.
system.
Terrible
And I feel like
system.
that's what's actually causing all of the sites to go like
Yeah.
get a lot worse. Like
Yeah.
that, and I feel like the video, making everything video content,
Oh,
like
yeah,
all
no,
that
no.
kind of
Guys,
stuff.
did someone comment on Twitch?
Oh my goodness.
No one's ever commented on Twitch.
Hi, what's up?
Hey.
I didn't.
We see you.
That's great.
It's been a while, so I can't quite recall, but I do know that also with the no prop gun policy, I'm pretty sure Tony wrote an article about that as
Yeah.
well. So there are more important topics besides just press release style
Oh, yeah.
news that are being covered by sites out there, but they're probably smaller and people maybe don't know about them.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's get into our meat of our nerd rage today, which I am super excited because we're probably gonna rage at each other. I don't know if we should have
Oh.
sat next to each
This
other,
is
Chris.
this is gonna. I'm just
gonna
gonna
get-
slowly
Yeah,
with my
right.
hands like this. Yeah.
All right, so what we're going to talk about now, and I feel like a lot of you guys will have some feelings about this too, is the fact that when you're a fan of something, and especially like the original IP, you feel like you own that character. And when like other companies take it over, or somebody else gets the IP and they change the character, or even just the like the storyline in general of something, that we as nerds
Get too fucking worked up about it.
I got so worked up, but for good reason.
No.
All right.
Hold on,
Hold on.
Why don't you give an example?
All right. Well, why don't you? Because this is
Me and
something that
Chris.
you really
Our team.
yeah. So team fine with his rage. Okay, or not fine with the nerd rage. Okay.
Okay.
Go on.
Yes,
So the
do
issues
tell.
that we have, okay, are that,
So this is gonna get
For
so intense.
example,
for example, all right, when let's just say, for instance, X-Men.
okay.
Okay, lead in so you're on this.
Yeah,
as well.
X-Men.
Yes.
Which already, she's like,
I'm so bad. Okay,
Okay.
go on.
Hold on.
Wait,
So
we're talking
if-
about comic book or movies?
doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. Okay, go on. Okay. No, it's cool. It's cool. No, it's fine. Keep going.
So when
And TV shows
fans,
and comics.
when
I'll hold
fans
your
get
hand.
upset,
Yes.
It's okay.
when you
Squeeze it as hard as you want.
change things
Yes.
that are not like canon, like
Yes.
you know, if like their origins, or if you write an origin that's bad and it doesn't go with what's before,
Okay.
if a new writer
Yes.
comes on and gives their take, if like things get changed a little bit that doesn't jive with either what they experienced in childhood or their favorite storyline
Okay.
or something like that, or let's just say Captain America is part of Hydra or something of that nature
Right.
that everybody gets enraged
Sure
about
enough.
because that's not true to that character. Superman isn't like that. Blah blah blah.
this whiskey.
Yes,
Oh,
but
God.
also, and
Because they
also,
feel ownership over those characters.
and also, to build on hers, a part of it too is people get so worked up about their particular, and they don't keep in the larger context of it, that it's still their particular interpretation of that character. In my grad thesis, I literally spent a page and a half just explaining all the different, like evolutions of Jean Grey, from when she started to then what happened to then when she
I
was
wanna read
rebooted to
that.
then when she was this. Like, I literally just spent a page and a half trying to illustrate why comics fans often get really worked
We should
up.
put that on our Tumblr. I'm really interested to read that.
Really about
Yeah.
like as it was just as like an example. I was like, this is one character in one of the big two universes, and like people, there are people who track all of these things, so there's a reason that people often get very protective of it. However, there was a big however to my thing. But the
And one
point
of the
is,
points-
people get upset about their one particular interpretation, but if you look at the whole history of it, even the things that people get so worked up and are like, this isn't how it is, well, that's not how it was 20 years ago either.
Okay, well, no. All right, so this gets
But
into,
only
like,
applies to comics,
okay.
to a degree.
To a degree. Okay, so
Okay.
here's in general, like, how I feel about it. If you, because we started talking about this last night, we were
We
like,
did.
oh, save it.
We were also drinking.
Oh, yes, because that's we're
That's how we roll.
alcoholics. But, so,
Is that a few comments on there?
No, that's a joke about Princess Diana crossing the road because she wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
Oh,
oh
okay.
dear. Oh,
Well,
my. So, yes, so here's
Hello,
the
yes,
thing.
we do this every week.
Yes. So, alright, here's my whole thing, and I understand it's kind of unfounded. I get that it's a little silly. The fact that, like, specifically X-Men, let's go with that, comic book X-Men, I get so frustrated when a character had an origin and it was laid out by the original writers, and somebody else comes in and changed the origin. Like, that to me is like, no, that's not
who
what
they
happened.
are.
Yeah. Like,
Okay,
I don't,
yeah.
I cannot tell you how many different
Also,
versions,
can I
like,
just say-
Xavier's lost the use of his legs. That shit makes me crazy.
And
that makes
this
me
is
crazy.
my response. You know these aren't real people, right?
They are to me though. Like that's
They're
the
not.
whole thing about being
They're
a
not
passionate fan.
So
not
here's
real.
the other thing, and but again, I'm sorry,
They're not real.
but it's another thing that like it's hard to discuss this in terms of comics specifically.
Yeah.
Because this was also my thesis.
Well, we're
You're
just
all-
gonna have to read it.
I'm
Fine.
sorry, guys. I wrote
That's the show to
I
know.
wrote my undergrad and my grad thesis on audience issues in comics because I'm that kind of nerd.
Yeah.
Woo! So, but that's another thing is that one of the inherent problems with superhero comics is that you're constantly denied the third act because no one can die.
Mm-hmm.
No one can really die. No one can really go away forever. No one can
Exactly.
really have a satisfying ending, and so these things become cyclical by nature.
Yes.
Which
I
I,
agree with
understand.
everything you're saying.
So that's what I'm saying. Like discussing this in terms of comic books is like such a bizarre, specific thing.
Yeah, because it's like 50 years
Also,
of this
how many
character.
times has DC rebooted their universe? Like 3?
Yeah.
Well, and that goes into like my biggest issue of nerddom in general, where with these superheroes, they came at a very specific time that we needed them, right? We had Superman, we just needed a good guy.
Joshua says yes, they are real
Yes.
to my life.
Yes, Joshua, I agree.
No, I have a
guys.
friend.
But
They were
Yeah, and he's
creative.
talked about how like
Yeah.
his family wasn't a good influence, and comic books were the people who taught him better values.
I get that, and I get like
And so
when
they
you
are,
watch
like,
a
real
TV
people.
show for years, they become like part of your
Yeah,
family.
to
you know,
us,
like
it's
your
our
friends.
religion.
But-
Like straight up, it's our religion. So if you said that to like a Christian person about like Jesus,
What Jesus? But that's so different.
I'm
Okay,
just saying.
I'm sorry.
very
we're
different,
talking
yeah.
fucking
No,
comic books.
but no, I'm just saying
and
that
we're
like.
talking like literally fictional characters here.
Well, to
But-
some people, they would say religious people are fictional characters.
But what I'm
Playing
saying is
devil's
that it
advocate
is.
here.
I know
Some
it's
are,
crazy that
but-
it's. But that's our like that's we like. But I agree. What you were saying is that there's such a like because we can't let these heroes go. There's a cycle to them that it just keeps. I would prefer.
Please comment
I know.
if comic book characters are your religion.
Yeah.
Please freaking comment.
My religion on Facebook has been listed as Olympia Diner since I was 18.
Okay, well,
there you go.
I've given up getting upset about it because I remember
too.
when X-Men the movie first came out, and Rogue was one of my favorite characters, still is.
Yeah.
So
Rogue is,
comic
like, her
books,
favorite character. She was
and
yours.
also the cartoon. I loved the cartoon. Grew up in the cartoon. So then when I see Anna Paquin, which no offense to her, I was like,
It's also just
I
the
was
writing
so-
was
and-
it was not her.
well, even before then, like I was
just
so
like the
stickler
trailers,
for
yeah.
what things look like. I'm like, their hair's wrong, this wrong, this wrong,
Yeah.
this wrong. And I was just like, I give up because it's like no point in freaking out about it.
Okay, so but the whole point of this thing is like, okay, so clear. Are you keeping up right now with like where the X-Men are going and everything else?
No, because and that's what I was gonna bring in what
So
she
much
said
for
about
religion.
the cyclical
hold
thing
on.
because it's done to me. It's done. Like basically to the 90s.
See, you've abandoned your religion.
I'm saying truth.
You're now an atheist.
Oh, we all know
You're
that.
now an X-Men
No,
atheist.
but so what I'm saying is that, like you said, like because we can't seem to kill off these characters and we have to reboot them every once in a while. To me, the first run of them, that is, I'm just gonna keep going and screw it.
But no, someone kind of agrees. Lorlick.
Yeah,
sorry,
he's
I apologize.
asking about the death and return of Superman.
But
Excellence
on this
is
comic book
thing.
origin story, this person agrees. So you know, I do agree on the sense of an origin story. That's integral to who this character is. This is where they've come from. This is who they are.
The origin story.
So
I'm
that
fine.
one, I'm like, ooh, don't change that. But what they look like, I'm like, all right, fine. There's plenty of options. Like there was a video going around Facebook that was like all the different outfits Wonder Woman has had over the years and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, fine. And then some of them are, like you were saying, it's like 20 years ago it was different. So it's like keeping up with the times and adjusting. So I'm like, all right, fine.
We have way heavier shit on my internet all the time than this.
Yeah.
So I don't know
I'm not sure what's going on,
what's going on.
we'll just keep going.
There's
I
nice
guess.
pause too. Yay.
Yeah, well, this yeah,
Be like, all right. And
It's
we
fine.
twiddle our thumbs.
it's gonna keep going. Yeah,
with origin
just comment that
stories,
we're trying to get it
is that-
reconnected and that there'll
But
be a full
fans
thing.
with origin stories, though, I mean, sometimes they don't like the origin story, so they just dismiss it anyway.
No.
Like everybody hated the origin story of Wolverine.
Oh wait,
Yay!
Okay, there we go.
Yay,
Um,
we're back.
True, fair enough.
Just
If you
gonna
don't
stay
care
down
for
here.
the original
Like if you don't
origin
care for
story,
the
yeah.
original
you
origin
sit
story,
well.
it gets
Because we
dismissed.
can't see you on that.
I'm coming in.
there.
I'm
Alright,
coming in
coming
a little
in.
bit. Yeah,
All
I
right.
just
So, but in
so that's
general, I agree with what you're saying, and I feel like there's just a time that we have to let like those stories live. But I feel that we need new superheroes instead of rewriting our old ones over and over again to match our needs
and there
and
are
what we
companies.
want right
There
now.
are companies that are doing that.
Yeah.
But I think another part. I think the point at which I kind of gave up on. Thank you. Okay. It just does that. It's just gonna do that. It's just.
Okay, wait.
My bangs are
wait,
shorter.
you got your little
when she
Superman
finishes
thing
it,
My
going.
bangs
I
are
got a
shorter than
question
anything
for you.
else. But like, it was about like the time when we started having serious cinematic universes that I just like gave up on getting worked up about it because I was like, you know what, they're two separate things.
Yeah,
and if
that
you
too.
get so worked up trying to like match up the comic book universe to the cinematic universe, like you're just gonna spend a lot of time being angry about a thing that like in reality is super cool that this thing you love is getting this mass exposure and like I want to fucking enjoy that. I want to enjoy seeing a character I really like being given this huge exposure. And if I spend so much time in my head upset that, oh, it doesn't match this one particular issue I really liked, like, then I'm not enjoying the thing I enjoy anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to like
100%
it.
agree. It's a great time right now. We have comic book,
Yeah.
TV shows, movies, comic books, cartoons, everything. So I was gonna say though, but what about shows like The Gifted, where there are some characters that cross over but aren't quite like the comic, and then you're like,
Ooh, I kind of I'm liking the Gifted of it, like, because at this point I agree with basically everything that everybody said, that I just have to let it go. Like, at some point you just have to let it go and enjoy something as just a new thing.
it's like
and
an
not,
alternate version.
Yeah, and it's alternate, especially when it comes from adapting things from comic book, from book form to movies to TV, like all that kind of stuff. Like, there's a lot of like we were talking about it last night of like, is there ever any time that you read a book right before seeing the movie and we're like, good job movie? It doesn't happen very often.
Right.
When I
Few
get
and far
frustrated
between.
is that so, and you're
I mean,
right.
they
it's-
adapted literally my favorite book of all time into a movie, and it's like the worst movie I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
Movie.
Ella Enchanted.
yeah, it's pretty bad.
I
That
like the
movie is pretty
movie,
bad.
but I didn't. No, I think I read the book.
It's
after.
literally a different story. So I was like, well, okay.
Wait. One that was a good adaptation because they did do things differently, and I felt it worked within that world. But then I made arguments. I was like, Handmaid's Tale.
Oh yeah.
was a really good, excellent book, and the show did a
was.
really good job where there were things that were like, yes, same, and then they
And
went a
then,
different
yes.
way, but it worked within
It
the
worked.
world of that space.
Yeah.
You go,
Agreed.
that never happened, but I like that happened.
Yes.
Like
Agreed.
the whole ambassador thing, that didn't happen in the book. But
Yeah.
it's so cool.
So, like, adaptations that kind of still work are fun, but then you look at it, and it's great that we are in this time that we have the fact that, like, corporations know they can make money off of us nerds by making these movies and making more
Take
content.
money.
But then it gets really frustrating when there's movies that they do so poorly at adapting something because they're not fans themselves. They're just like, oh, I'll just buy it.
Right.
Like, Dragon Ball Evolution is
Yeah.
one. X-Men 3 is one. Like, all that kind of stuff. That's where the
Fantastic
true,
Four,
like,
yeah,
rage comes.
all
Yeah,
that
the fan. Oh my god, all the
See,
Fantastic
but then
Fours.
that's just discussing what we've talked about before, where we were talking about like bad adaptations. But that's different than people who get possessive and feel like they have
Exactly.
ownership over the character,
That
and
is
then
true.
are like fucking
And that-
crazy
The
trolls
whole,
or like
actually-
the whole reason that this started, by the way.
threatening.
I
Like,
know, we went
this is
on
like way off a tangent.
because like there are tons of legacy characters.
Mm-hmm.
There are lots of legacy characters where it has been passed down, and people there have been like 5 Robins.
There's
people
tons
are
of
chill with that,
Spider-Mans,
but suddenly.
lots.
Suddenly, one of them's a woman or one of them's black. And, oh no, we can't have
Well, then
legacies.
it shows
People
you where the
can't break
racist
things
and
down.
sexist people are.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. It
And I'm
does.
not saying that's the
But
only
this
reason
is
people are upset.
a new America
I'm
we're
not
living
saying
in.
that every person who is upset is a
No,
racist or
they've
a
just
sexist.
come out of the woodwork.
However,
Exactly.
it does bring them out of the woodwork. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, no.
That's like somebody's
sorry, I had
supposed
some
to, like, you want to know how to
comments,
find Nazis? Write something anti-Nazi on the internet, and then you'll find
Yeah,
it.
exactly. It's
true.
Oh yeah, and someone pointed out that
The Flash?
Yeah, the Flash. His
Mhm.
lightning is yellow and orange, and then in a movie it was blue, and people got mad about it.
Yeah, and it's like,
I-
well, obviously they had to do something different than the TV
Yeah.
show. Like, at that point, it's
If
like,
they
tricky.
already weren't allowing them to cast the TV,
I thought that was a
cast
little weird when I
in the
saw the trailer
movies.
for Justice League. I'm like, but there's the kid on the Flash already. But fine, they don't.
when they first announced all the casting, I was like, they had this really successful TV franchise. Why are they not just putting those people in the movies?
'Cause they don't wanna-
Whatever. I
there's
know.
two different
Oh wait, then
departments.
there's ones where they're in the same universe and then they play 2 superheroes.
Yep.
Yep,
There's
that's
a few,
true too. There's a few of
actors who
those.
do that. That's
Yeah.
a little bit like, whoa.
Those
No.
are assholes.
But to kind of wrap up, like, what we kind of went all over
And
the
there are
place.
people who've played ones in DC and Marvel.
Yes,
Those
yeah.
are funny too. Those are very funny to me.
Yeah.
I understand
Like Ryan
the
Reynolds.
ownership of a character when it's like their origin story and all that kind of stuff, but
Yeah,
once the
origin
mantle
story.
is passed down, I think that's the best way to move a character forward instead of redoing the same one over
Yes.
and over again because we
Or
need
rebooting,
or
because
rebooting it.
of-
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We need new superheroes and we also need them to show more diversity because we are a much more diverse culture than ever before and we need those
Representation
superheroes. We need
matters.
that. Yeah, it's really important. So I'm glad we can all agree on that, even though I still love you.
That one.
All right. So what we had one small other topic to rage about before our
Yes.
rave. So
Which
what was
was-
our last?
It was the Pokemon.
Oh.
And we pause.
And we pause.
One more time.
So
Oh, see,
you-
it even it's telling you.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah, I'm also gonna look up the numbers on that.
The Pokemon.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it met its
'Cause I don't
goal
really know
3
much
days
about
ago.
it,
So
yeah.
that's why I was like, I don't understand why this is a big deal. It met its goal 3 days ago.
I think I was bummed though. Not
Yeah.
Pokemon Go, but I
Niantic
tried.
Lab reports that players caught more than 3 million Pokemon to unlock new rewards.
Oh, so clearly it happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it
Yeah.
happened. I saw news that it happened. So that's why I was like, oh.
Did you guys during Anime Expo they had a Attack on Titan version of like Pokemon Go? But it like didn't work. I was so bummed. I went to
that's
Little
so
Tokyo and I'm like, I'm gonna go
frustrating.
get a Titan, and then it like didn't do
Oh.
anything, so I was super bummed.
That is super frustrating. Oh, we're back. Oh, excellent.
Yay!
All right, so Pokemon Go, and also there's that whole big thing that happened in Chicago, right, a while back, where they tried
Oh.
to like
Well, that was
redo
the
everything.
Pokemon. That was the Pokemon Go Fest, and it was just they just didn't have good enough service.
I know,
More
and it
people
all
came,
shut
and it
down.
like was like a huge
Oh.
shit show.
It was like their Friar Fest.
It's
or
one of
whatever
those,
that was
but
called.
I think it's one of those things that shows that more people are playing it than people think. Because even like they had this global challenge where they were like, oh, if you guys catch 3 billion Pokemon, like you'll Farfetch'd will be worldwide for 48 hours. And like they said that they did it 3 days ago. By 3 days ago, like I'm in some like raid groups for around LA, which I don't have time to go to, but like I'm in the Facebook group and like people go out there and do this like every day in like big groups. Like there are people playing.
People still play.
I still play. I'm pumped to go catch a Farfetch, but like I think people are still playing. It's just a thing that people it was so like such a cultural thing when it started,
Man,
and then
that,
so many
like,
people stopped playing, and then
blew up
people
the
are like,
world.
oh, no one plays anymore. But there are like some very
I just like
dedicated
going
people.
out and catching them. I
Yeah.
don't want to go into a tournament. I don't want to be with other people.
No, they're not.
You know,
tournaments.
walk into the
I don't.
street,
Yeah,
or
see,
walk in
I
an art
actually-
alley, which
no,
happened.
no,
with
no.
people.
Yeah,
See,
that did.
Well,
straight up.
that's dumb.
Or they found a dead body.
I have
Do
some.
you remember that? That's
one.
right, yeah, because they were
Yeah.
finding dead bodies because of it.
Yeah.
I do have some frustration with
You know.
the like
just wanna
newer
catch 'em.
system. The newer system where with the eggs and the raids, like they're really cool, but like unless I have time to like find a group and go with a bunch of people, like there are all these really cool legendary Pokemon that like I'm just never gonna get. My wall of my building is literally a gym, so I get
I
the
love
eggs. They pop up all the time, but like I can't.
She's like, I'm gonna hang out here for
I
now
can't
on.
walk to the Galleria.
I can't beat them myself. I can't beat them myself
That's a nice
because
walk,
I don't have a group of people to like fight these legendaries
But
with
everybody's
me,
like clustered
which
around
is
the fountain.
very frustrating.
And Joshua
Oh,
mentioned that that the event that happened in Chicago, he really thinks it's the cellular networks in the U.S. because they did the same event in Japan and everything went smoothly.
Yeah.
And he still plays, so
Yeah, I still play too.
good for you.
I was doing an event down at the block, and these business people all just kind of congregated by an area. And we're like, what are they doing? Well, it's Pokemon Go.
Oh, yeah.
So we went over, like, what are you guys doing? Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
That happened actually
Cheers.
while I worked at Girl Scouts. We were running a day camp, and we
Now
could
I'm
not
catching them, guys.
figure out why all
Catching them
these
right
weird people were just like coming around with their cell phones and like hovering around the girls
You're like, not
until
cool,
we
bros.
figured out
Oh, whoa,
that on
whoa.
the other side of the wall was a Japanese garden that had like a gym and it had like a it had like huge amounts of, and you could just do it by coming along on the free park instead of paying to get into the Japanese garden. But it happened to be right
sneaky.
where Girl
Like,
Scouts
where the
was
Girl
holding their
Scouts
day
were,
camp.
and
And
you're
we were
like,
like,
"Oh."
and then I'm like, oh. So I literally had to tell all the parents were like, it's a Pokemon Go thing.
It's a
you know,
game.
just don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
it's
It's
fine.
fine.
Don't
All
It's
right,
fine.
to wrap this
No
up
far
with a
fetched
nice
near me.
Yeah, right. So to wrap this up with a nice, like, warm nerd rave, we, if you saw, we watched the trailer for
They did.
Infinity War. Yeah, she has a thing. She doesn't watch trailers, which I respect.
I
Oh, wait,
just-
no. Trailers outside the theater.
I mean, if like trailers are designed to be in the movie theater. If it's in the movie theater, that's fine. But like, I went to see Coco this week, and that's the first time I saw a Star Wars trailer.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know. I just feel like, and we've talked about this on the show, that so many trailers lately are really spoiler heavy, or they show all the like best. They show all the best moments in the movie.
Or they show you scenes that are really good or really bad, and then it's not in the
and then
movie
they're not in the
anyway.
movie. Yeah, and so I've just I've made the choice to actively just like not be like, if it comes across a thing, and like again, like if
Yeah.
I've seen it, it's fine, but like I'm actively not like seeking them out and like, oh, I have to go watch
Yeah,
them.
well, I
so.
feel like this. I don't
So
know
they
how you
watched it
felt. I
and
feel like
let
it
me
wasn't.
sit in the other room, like,
Yeah. Well, I feel like this trailer wasn't very spoilery. I don't know how you guys felt. I felt like it really just showed like
mean,
this person and that person and that person.
It was
might have been.
cameo.
But it was
Yeah,
also
cameos.
okay. I do have to rage a little bit, and I need explanation of why Black Widow's hair is now
Yes,
blonde.
no.
What's
Don't
happening,
like it.
Scarlet?
I don't
What'd
know.
you do?
Why?
Why you do that?
Why?
I don't like it.
I had somebody else comment. I saw that, and I was like, what are they talking about? Now I saw it, and I'm like,
Oh, somebody. Okay, no.
oh, somebody said, "Uh oh." All right. What?
He's talking about Batgirl and how Barbara Gordon. Yes, Barbara Gordon is the definitive version, but I have literally bust indoors to talk to people about Steph Brown. I have so many Steph Brown feelings, guys.
Oh, she has so many feelings. Oh my goodness. It
I
looks
have
like we'll have to do a whole
so
one
many
just-
Steph Brown feelings, guys.
Oh wow.
I love
It's a
Barbara
long
Gordon.
one.
I love Barbara Gordon, but I have like a lot of Steph Brown feelings, and I have a lot of Bluebird feelings. I know she's not Batgirl, but
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it.
yeah,
Thank
but
you
the,
for your comment because it totally.
did you just fucking pin that comment? You bitch.
Oh, it feels so good. Let me just taste that nerd rage real quick. Oh, I love it. All right, so, but in general, we loved the trailer.
Yes.
We could
Yes.
rave about it forever. The little bumper at the end, I did not see coming.
we were about to stop the video. I was like, wait, no, hold on.
Hold on, yeah. So if you want to watch
Just like
our
Marvel
reaction
movies.
video, we posted it on Facebook. It's on our YouTube,
channel.
all that kind of
It's
stuff.
fine.
So
They're not telling me what it is, but I understand the context. It was probably the Guardians of the Galaxy show.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
It was great.
It was
It was great.
I know how the movie is going. Like, I know who's in the movie,
Well,
guys.
but what was
True
funny
that.
is that like, because we all know that they were
But
going to
it
be
was
in the movie.
Thor and Guardians of
It
the
was really
Galaxy,
cute. Who are
which
you
was
guys?
amazing.
It
It was
really
like, who
cute.
are you?
Okay.
And then we're like,
yeah, well, they're the two that are both in space.
Yep,
So
that's true.
That's.
I know, but like it was the thing 'cause,
Contextually-
like there
But
was
it was
just
cool.
so
I'm
many
sure it was
characters
cool, but
that
I'm
we
just
saw.
saying you're not spoiling that for me
Okay.
because
Yeah,
contextually
I mean, we know
figure
they're
that
gonna
one
be.
out.
Okay, all right. Well, fair enough. Well, thank you all again for joining us for Whiskey Wednesday Nerd Rage. And Carrie, thank you again for joining
Yes,
us.
for joining us.
Where can everybody follow you
He
on
loves
social
Steph
media?
Brown too.
I know.
Pin that
I know.
one.
Where can we
Yes,
follow you on
and-
all of your social media, Carrie?
Yes, you guys can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. And later tonight, if you're a Vikings fan, on AfterBuzz TV, we're going to be covering the premiere, which starts at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just go to AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. You'll find Vikings, and I'm super excited because Vikings is awesome.
Woo! Awesome.
Yeah, Vikings. All right, guys. Thank you again.
Thanks for
You
joining
can
us.
see us next week.
See you next
and
week.
of course,
Also,
Yes.
a reminder that we do have a new newsletter that you can subscribe to if you go to our website.
That's right.
We did
On the
some
contact page.
exclusive content for last week for Thanksgiving, and we've got a new one coming out soon that's got another exclusive
Absolutely.
video in it.
and we have
there,
even more merchandise,
browse our merchandise.
coming out.
Just
we
like
also
showing your boobs off.
Yeah, right.
And boobs.
And boobies. So, and also we have just totally lost my train of thought because it's boobs. Also, we're gonna do our Nerd Rage next week, so comment below or on our main page to let us know what you want us to nerd about next week.
Yeah.
All right, thank you again, guys. See you next time.
See you next week.
See you. All right, can you hit it?
I
Would
can't.
Bam. Can you?
No.
Okay, there we go.
Can I?
Yeah. Okay, can you hand me the whole thing?
Apparatus.
Mm-hmm.